So in light of the New Orleans terrorist attack, Trump allies are urging you and your colleagues in the Senate to move quickly on confirming the president-elect's national security team. You have signaled some opposition to Kash Patel serving as leader of the FBI, but Republicans say delaying his confirmation will hurt operational security. How do you respond to that?
We have a very functional FBI right now that has investigated New Orleans, investigated Las Vegas, came out, told the public exactly what was going on. So I don't believe that to be the case. I believe our job, we just took an oath. I just took an oath, Jake, to support and defend the Constitution of the United States, and we have a duty to advise and consent. A number of our Republican colleagues in the Senate agree. That's why we must have an FBI check on Kash Patel and these other nominees for these very serious security positions. We must know what their background is. We must see their financial disclosure forms. The president-elect has put in a number of billionaires that could have all kinds of conflicts into these jobs. We must be able to see that, but at the same time, as we stand our ground and follow the oath of the Constitution, we also find common ground where we can on things like housing. They say they want to do something about childcare. Let's go for it. But if their plan is to simply move ahead and give tax cuts to a bunch of billionaires, as we just heard rumors that's what was coming out of the Republican caucus, that they want to immediately move to that, we're going to stand our ground and hold them accountable for what they said, that they wanted to help average people in our country.
Well, let me ask you, D.C. prepared for whatever might happen?
Yes, and I'll make clear that in any of these events, as you saw in New Orleans, horrible things can happen, and we know that. But how prepared are we? And what we found out last January 6th, and this could have been any event, but this one is etched in our minds forever with the police officers dying, so many people hurt. We literally had cops that couldn't get at their riot gear. It was locked on a bus. A 4-hour delay to call in the National Guard because of some rule that had been in place that created a phone tree. An architect of the Capitol, who's kind of the boss of a bunch of the employees, wasn't even there. So these were dramatic changes. We made 103 recommendations. And my job as chair of the Rules Committee was to make sure they got done. We have, as you note, a new police chief, increased morale, many hundreds of more officers, and we have a plan and a strategy in place. That's not to say there aren't threats all the time on members of Congress or on the Capitol. But I feel very strongly that we have made major shifts. What happened last time where an officer's words haunt me forever on the police line said, "Does anyone have a plan? Does anyone have a plan?" And the answer from the leadership back then was no. Now we have clear leadership in place.
Are you worried that January 6th, the horrible things that happened that day, are being forgotten?
No, I think that when you look at the work of the January 6th committee, and I support that work, the work that came out of the House of Representatives, they established for the historical record what happened. Putting aside the fact that a lot of people had reasons that they voted the way they did, people still care about their democracy. I was just watching one of your panels. 4 out of 5 people in the last election felt that Donald Trump had done something wrong. He did. He did. He led an insurrection. But the people have now voted, and our job tomorrow, which is also January 6th, is to implement the will of the people. It's the peaceful transition of power. So Democrats and Republicans will come together tomorrow to certify those results, to make that same walk with the young women with those mahogany boxes filled with the ballots. That's what we do. That's what America has done, and that's what we will do on the inauguration day.
As one of her last